The next panel is Capability Meets Capital, How Poland is Connecting Military Users with Investors and Startups. We have Rozalia Urbanek from PFR, Colonel Michał Żołnierowicz, the Ministry of National Defense, Stanisław Kastory from Expeditions, our partner Expeditions, and Tobias Stone of Resilience Media. Let's get these folks out here.
Odwrotnie niż zdjęcia. Czyli ja tu. Tobie, we need to switch.
Do you want to do according to the pictures? Right, okay. Right, well look, thank you for being here. Let's kick off talking about your new committee that is not yet public. So tell us about the committee, please.
Rozalia?
Yeah.
Yes, so we are happy to announce that we've been able to create with Ministry of Defense the Committee for Innovation in Security. Yes. And this is the committee which was designed when we were structuring the Fund of Fund initiative targeting deep tech and dual use sector, which is called PFR Deep Tech. And yes, and we've been able to move it to the end, and currently we were happy to announce publicly that the committee will start their work, and the purpose of the committee is to align and to share the knowledge between MOD, the needs of MOD, but also venture capital funds, the potential of your portfolio companies, and to align, you know, the same interests we have.
Yes, exactly. The rules of this committee were created 4 years ago, when Poland joined NATO Innovation Fund. So we created smaller committee between PFR Venture and Department of Innovation. And now this committee is bigger, and we would like to discuss, identify technologies on early stage, assess their relevance for defense, and provide our feedback.
And so what are the obstacles for these early stage technologies that the committee is trying to help with?
Obstacles. There is a lot of obstacles in Poland. So we have almost everything. We have innovators, we have money. So our spend for defense is 5% of GDP, and we have procedures. But these dots are not connected, so we have to connect these all dots and create procedures which will allow innovators, MOD to test innovation, adapt this innovation, and buy this innovation for military end users.
And from an investor or startup perspective, I mean, obviously the fact that the committee has been launched implies there's a problem it is solving. What is the problem like at the moment?
No, so I'm really happy that the committee will be there, and I have high expectations because the question I'm mostly scared of, the question I hear from my portfolio companies is, okay, how should we sell to Polish MOD? And there is no right answer because there is no procedure, and I hope that will solve this issue. Right now we have few, let's call it bridges, the personal bridges. It's like so Jacek Siewiera is one of them, General Andrzejczak, General Piotrowski. Those are people with very high authority who understand how the business works and how the Polish administration, MOD, and the army works, and they are able to connect those worlds. So we really need new ways, like a commission, to do it, because we cannot efficiently implement new technologies in our defense, in our Polish and European defense, if there is no bridge and no communication between those two worlds.
And you and I were discussing this earlier, and it was interesting. You were saying that one of the big problems in the past, which was corruption, was solved, but in a way now the regulation that came in to stop corruption is making procurement difficult. Do you want to just explain that a bit more?
Yeah, so that's one of our biggest Polish successes for the last 30 years. I believe we are the only country in Eastern Bloc that really won the war with corruption, and there is no institutional corruption in Poland. And we did it, and of course many of our legal acts are written in a way that they were built to help us with fighting with corruption. But the issue is that administration and government is, because of that, is scared to to talk with business and otherwise. So lobbyists and other people who try to connect those words are not. Perception on them is not positive. It's like, okay, they are trying to sell something, there is something shady behind, and we need to change that perspective, because we cannot develop if we are constantly thinking that someone is trying to bribe the other party. We had this meeting with two generals. I was there with Miko, my co-founder, and for the first 45 minutes, we're trying to convince them that we are not looking to get paid, that we want to share the knowledge and expertise of our companies with Polish MOD, with Polish government. And after 45 minutes, I believe we achieved our goal, but that should be a straightforward discussion from the beginning, because we are looking for ways to support, not to bribe, not to do anything that is illegal or even unethical.
And you were talking as well about the fact that you can procure big things easily.
Yep.
What is the obstacle for smaller things, for earlier stage things? Why is that hard?
Why is that hard? So we have two systems nowadays. One system is standard R&D system for long-term procurement, and this short-term for innovation, open innovation. And this longer one is perfectly works. Thanks to this system, we can support our supply chains. But thanks to this innovation, open innovation work strand doesn't work because we don't have ready procedures which will cover all low aspects of the problem and problems. So we are creating in Ministry of National Defense procedures, strict decisions for our military end users how to proceed. The first decision is decision 123 from December last year, which allow military end user to test innovations. Nowadays, we started preparation for second decision for small-scale procurement to allow these tested innovations to allow buy this for small scale for the purpose of military end users and units. So we believe that within 3 months we will have this next decision, and we go one step further.
So Raj Shah, the American DIU, said that you've got to have political support for these things to work. Do you think yet that there is that political support in Poland to really...
Yes, our Secretary of State within Polish MOD, Cezary Tomczyk, who supervises the Department of Innovation. We have full support of him, but we have to prepare right documents in the right manner and on the right time. So that's why he's pushing us as well. Please prepare for me really good documents which I can sign and or provide our Prime Minister for signature. So he supports us.
And Rozalia, can you explain more for those of us not from Poland the role PFR has been playing in this?
Yes, so PFR, Polish Development Fund, is, and PFR Ventures is the largest fund of funds in the region. We invested in more than 100 funds, from venture capital funds, private debt, and private equity. But as Polish Development Fund, we of course have also the ecosystem-driven approach, which acts in the situation where we identify any challenges. And for example, in deep tech and defense, the challenge is that we also need more startups, more innovators. And of course, the one way is to provide capital, which will incentivize fund managers to search for these projects, to search for these startups. But on the other hand, we need to support the ecosystem from the bottom-up approach. And that's why although we are the fund of funds, usually we invest in funds, but we also try to engage with ecosystem. And we created among Polish Development Fund the IDA Bootcamp initiative, which is targeting the challenges in defense sectors. The challenges are identified by Ministry of Defense. mostly, and they are divided into 3 streams. Each stream, which is one for aerospace, the second one for maritime, and the third one for awareness, is driven by the support of the funds in which we invested. So Expeditions is leading one of them, Balnord is leading maritime, and OTB, which is the fund in which NATO Innovation Fund invested, and we are investor in NATO Innovation Fund. And by the way, Expedition is also their investment. They are supporting the space unit. So we already, and it's working for last month. The next edition is planned for coming weeks. So we already have this track record of cooperation between these 3 segments. So being the startups, innovators, capital, and Ministry of Defense. Now we need to bring it to the next level. So to the level where sales will be possible.
And Stanislav, what is the experience like as one of the 3 funds that received the money? Has that been supportive?
So I believe that PFR Deep Tech program is a very good program that came just on time, and we were in the process, of course, with PFR on negotiating it. And the great thing about the program is that it addresses all the traditional issues that we had with institutional capital. So it is together with PFR, we are not only able to invest in the best Polish companies, but we are able to invest in technologies that are crucial for Polish defense capabilities. And this way, I'm really against this thinking that if there is Polish institution or German institution, whatever other institution, they should only invest in the country where they come from, because that way we cannot create like having ambassadors all around the world. I'm seeing Arseny and many other our founders here. It's the fact that we were able to invest in those companies. Thanks to that, they are here today. We are able to cooperate with them. We are able to introduce them to Mr. Żołnierowicz, to Rozalia, and many of our other friends who are here today. So that's a huge benefit for us as Poland, because we have the best talent, the best companies here. And we are also supports there. It's not yet announced, but here in the crowd, there are also founders of our new Polish investment that will probably happen very, very shortly. So we'll be very excited to share it with you. So we can combine those strategies and really for a benefit of Poland, not just focusing on paying taxes back to our ARS.
And in terms of the military and the government building structures to try and make it easier for startups, what would you, as an investor and to some extent representing the startups, what would you like to see them doing?
I think the clear communication is the trust, and clear communication is what we need. So we need to know our founders. They need to know what is expected, what is needed, and of course I'm aware of the fact that there is a kind of confidentiality that needs to be in place, but there also needs to be some kind of a communication and openness to the dialogue, because other way the army will never get what they really need, even if it is available.
And what other, you were talking about test beds and other things, what other activities are you going to be doing?
Yes, also within Polish MOD, we just created the initiative called Innovator Testbed. So we are trying to build a testbed for innovators in land domain and air domain, the second one for maritime domain, and the third one for space domain. And we have already one test bed for innovators in cyber security. Another proposal is or structure is autonomous system center, in Polish called OSA, in English WASP. So it's a lab environment where technologies we can test technologies offered by innovators and test them by military end users in real environment.
And presumably that's not just Polish startups, or is it?
No, not just Polish startups.
So a British startup or a Ukrainian startup, would they be able to use your test centers?
Yes.
And how would they contact you, or how do they? What's the door?
They
What's
can
the front
try
door?
contact the Department of Innovation, and we will pass because this OSA initiative is run by our inspectorate for unmanned systems, and we are passing all offers to this inspectorate to assess if this offer fits our needs, Polish MOD needs, and afterwards they assess on the lower level if how to test and when.
And is there any connectivity yet, or possibly the new initiative will do that, where if someone is successful in the test center, they can get access to capital and the whole process works together? Yet?
Hopefully it will be included in this new procurement process for new technology. That's the hope, right?
I believe there is a lot of space for us. So in this triangle, let's say, we can really solve many issues of many of our portfolio companies, Polish and companies from abroad, because we can make the process efficient. And that's what I hope the Commission will help us do.
So maybe the answer is that a startup could approach any of you to get pushed into the system.
Yeah, definitely we will share this knowledge among us, and sharing this knowledge and the cooperation was the basis for structuring also the deep tech initiative, because we knew that VC is not pure local game. Of course, we are using money which is Polish, and it's driven by generating benefit for Polish ecosystem, but also for building capabilities, and this is crucial in deep tech and defense. And we knew from the very beginning, from the talks we had with funds, that if we want to have the program successful and build the capabilities which will be required by the Ministry of Defense, we cannot think only locally. We need to think internationally, which means that if there is very interesting investment opportunity abroad, which can be finally adopted and used by Ministry of Defense in Poland, and for building this Polish resilience, Polish safety, then it's beneficiary for all, to have these investments in the portfolio of our funds.
If I could add to that, because slightly from different perspective, if you think about what is the most important for Polish ecosystem right now, it is a success of 11 Labs. 11 Labs, that's not Polish company. There are 2 Polish founders, and they are very strongly attached to Poland. They try to share their success with Poland, and they even announced they will be doing dual listing in a few years. As far as I remember, they want to do it in London and in Warsaw. And the amount of know-how, best practices, network they will bring, that they're already bringing to the Polish market, is much more valuable than everything that happened before. It's like, I'm sure that in few months we'll see the start of something we can call probably 11 Labs Mafia or something like this.
This is what Sten was talking about earlier that we saw with
Estonia.
Exactly.
Stan is a great example of such mafia person, but in Estonia.
And I think that what it was interesting what he was saying is there's a 10-year tail. This doesn't all happen overnight, but those successes build. In the last couple of minutes, we're keen with the conference to really share best practice and lessons. Is there anything particularly you two have learned in this process that has gone well or has gone badly that other people could learn from?
From my perspective, the process on military side is going well because we are moving step by step in the right direction. We are creating procedures. We are trying to link these dots, and I think that we have the ambition and capability to build our own solutions in Poland, here in Poland, to test them here in Poland, to validate them, adopt them, and procure by military end users. So we are not only for rapid adoption and startups from other countries, but we are ready to build our own capacities.
That's great. Rozalia?
So my lessons learned is that although we were the first or the second country in Europe which allowed for investments in defense from the VC perspective, in terms of numbers and value of investments, we are, that there are others who are faster, which means that we need to be faster.
Stan.
Yeah, that's the issue I have with the pace of the implementation in Germany. Because as you know, Germany, from our, at least Polish perspective, did not react fast enough to the Russian invasion. And suddenly, after 2 years, they completely changed the way they think and the way they act, and suddenly they are against at the forefront of the race. The biggest companies in defense tech right now are German. And I really feel that we are missing, or I hope we didn't miss yet, but we are missing the head start we had. And I would really like us to be there and maybe increase the pace to be on the forefront of the change.
Sounds good. We'll be following the story and hopefully be able to talk more about these initiatives as they develop. And next year, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.